There we go. Divine greetings, beautiful kings and queens, friends and family. I am Queen Aline, and I am so happy to have you here today. I am joined by a very special friend, warrior, how do you like partner in health. I was looking for the word partner in health. Amazing warrior and such a beautiful shining light for our world, King ZePaul Thomas, who has a really, really powerful journey today. His healing journey, his experience with healing with fruit, and not just any fruit, one fruit in particular. That's right. He has been on grapes for 120 days straight, reversing symptoms from cerebral palsy. And he's going to share with us a little bit about what's been inspiring him, what he's been experiencing, like some of the benefits he's been experiencing, also like what led him to the grapes, how did this come about? I love a good survivor's story, a hero's journey where, an individual really takes charge of their life, of their health, also goes against the mainstream, like a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses could be so, convincing to tell us like, we need this, we need that, we need medication. And for somebody to awaken and really take on this path of natural remedies and, eating God's foods from the earth in order to feel better and have a more positive experience of life. So thank you so much, ZePaul. I've been watching your journey from the beginning. I was telling him, I can't believe it's been 120 days. I remember when he first embarked on this, and I was like, whoa, he's so brave. And you've been, starting to share more. And well, you've been sharing from the beginning, but I see you doing more interviews and really coming out with, everything that you've been going through. So thank you so much for opening up to us and for being so raw, so vulnerable as well, and expressing yourself and letting us into your life and letting us into your whole process. So thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and also, maybe share a little bit about your experience, like carry us through a little journey of your life living with cerebral palsy. For those who don't know, maybe you can explain a little bit what exactly you've been living with from a young age, right? You were born with it, is that correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
So tell us a little bit, what's life been like for you?
Well, I was born with cerebral palsy. I was born about 3 or 4 months premature,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother found out very quickly that I had cerebral palsy. And I was she was in the hospital with me for a lot, especially within the first couple of years. And I countless went through countless surgeries and operations, um, growing growing up. And around I guess around 14, I made a decision that I didn't want to get any more operations. And I think about around 14 or 15, I decided I didn't want to get any more operations. And I guess as time went on, when I started to move into more of the information age, I started to look into um, things like Earth Clinic, and YouTube became more of a thing. I eventually stumbled across people like Dr. Sabi and Dr. Africa, and just looking for alternative means of healing for for cerebral palsy, and just anything. Like I just became a geek for just alternative health in general. I was the type of person, if you were dealing with anything in my family, whether it be something like a cold or something like diabetes or cancer, um, if you were really, really interested or really, really serious about um, wanting to get better, they knew to come to me and ask my opinion. Even with me growing up with cerebral palsy in my own journey, I don't think it was ever really made it known that that may be one of the reasons of me really getting into holistic health. But I just didn't I was always into learning about what the doctors wanted to do, suggestions and things like that. But after about after about 15 years of countless surgeries, it was basically just a band-aid, just band-aids, cutting on me all the time and going through physical therapy and surgeries in the same cycles. So I figured maybe there's somewhere, you know, outside of the Western world that I could learn that that can help improve my quality of life and maybe even find just find something that just could completely reverse my symptoms. I think that just as the information age went on, I think I gotten deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole of holistic healing, from giving up pork and giving up pork when I was like 18, 19 years old, and and then going vegan when in probably around 26, 25, 26.
Mm.
Um, and then into where I'm at now, going from fruitarianism to raw veganism and switching back and forth to different versions of the plant-based diet.
Hmm. Wow, amazing. And then what was like your family's reaction when you were, you know, starting to discover this? Were they afraid? Were they concerned? Did they think it was counterproductive? Were they supportive?
I think that they were supportive, but I think that they were supportive, but I don't think that they really took it serious to the point to where you know they thought it was going to make a difference either way. I
Mm,
mean, they always respected my decision of whatever my dietary lifestyle was.
mhm.
So it wasn't necessarily, maybe they might have, rolled their eyes at it, but it wasn't. I think they knew, and nothing would turn me away from eating a healthier lifestyle.
Wow, that's amazing. Because you started really young, awakening and making these changes. That's why I'm asking. Um, so what are some of the symptoms that you started to see improving as you changed your diet, what were some of the highlights, or what are some of the biggest, most notable things that you started noticing when you changed your diet that obviously helped you to continue on this path?
Well, I think um, just over time. Well, I think more than anything, I think um, even regardless of whether I improved on with my symptoms or not, I think that um, I'm just so strong-willed in eating what I feel is a healthier lifestyle. I think I think that, um, but definitely over time, um, just because my cerebral palsy affects mainly my lower extremities. Like I have a very noticeable gait walk, and um, and my posture and my hands, my motor skills are greatly affected on my lower extremities mostly. And I've seen a lot of progress as the years go on, with my walking and my standing, and just little things over a time that I wasn't able to do before living a plant-based lifestyle, that I'm able to do or was able to do years later. Like simple things like being able to stand in a line when I'm at the store and not have to hold on to something for support, I can be able to stand, stand up and hold on to things while I'm in line, or just more balance, better balance and posture. Um, and a couple of years ago, it was actually a guy that I follow, that I've been following on Facebook. A couple of years ago, I asked his suggestion what he thought that I should do for cerebral palsy. And he told me, he said, if I can go on a sweet water dense fruit diet for a month or a few up to a few months until my condition is improved, he told me, he basically gave me a strict outline. He said nothing but sweet water dense fruits. He said no 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 juices, no no greens, just nothing but sweet water dense fruits, no tomatoes, cucumbers, or anything. And he said just stick to that diet until your symptoms improve. And it took me a few years to actually do it. Was and to it led me to people like you. Um around it was around the springtime I decided that I was gonna finally take it up. And little did I know it was a whole community of people. And it led me to people like Bobby Smith and and you
Oh,
and Kev Ramon, people doing grape challenges, people doing watermelon challenges,
yeah.
people doing juice fasts. It was it was divine timing, because even though I wish I had taken this on years ago, but when he first recommended it to me, but it was divine timing the way that now it's a whole community of people. And that's what made, when I started to take on that sweet watery fruit fast over the summer, the reason I was able to get through with it was platforms like such as yourself.
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. We're so happy to have you in our community. I mean that when I say that. Like, we're so happy and grateful for your posts, for your contributions, and here you are inspiring me, here you are inspiring our community, and that's the beauty about community. That's the beauty about coming together and sharing our stories, coming together. I know I love Bobby Smith. He's so amazing. I've done a couple of his challenges, and I helped him in the watermelon challenge. I'm not sure if maybe that's where we met. Maybe it was a little bit before that. But it's just like that momentum, right? It's that momentum of feeling like you're not alone. Other people are doing this. Yes, it's hard. Yes, people think we're crazy in this matrix world, but we have each other and we have that sense of belonging. We have that sense of, okay, they get me, they get what I'm doing. And that made such a difference for me, at the beginning of my journey. Well, like I was alone at the beginning of my journey, but towards like when I started becoming more like raw vegan is when I found like this community too, about 4 or 5 years ago, and it made all the difference. That's when I started doing my juice cleanses, like longer juice cleanses. I had done little ones, but I never thought I could go 40 days. And I just kept on going, 100 days. And I was like, whoa, where did that come from? Like we have this wind beneath our wings when we have a tribe around us. So thank you for saying that. And you are our tribe too. You are our legend. Like it's absolutely legendary what you're doing. 120 days on grapes is not something that you hear every day. And you've even inspired me to come on, back onto this platform. This is my first interview in a long time. I've just been like in a period of, self-reflection and introspection. And I was just like, no, I got to do this. I want to. And so thank you so much for, you know, pulling me out of my little cocoon as well. And it's so wild how we do that, right? For each other. We inspire each other. I'm in a bit of a, you know, like I'm eating some cooked foods and I'm not beating myself up, but I hear you talking and I'm hearing like juicy, watery fruit. And I'm like, yes, Aline, like that's what you need to be focusing on only and only fruit. Like you feel your best on the fruit. And, I'm still dealing with some health issues too. So I want to thank you for bringing me back and just like reminding me of what's important. And sometimes we do have to go the distance. Sometimes like we have to go the long distance. We need to do a year, 2 years on this like very strict regiment in order to get to the root cause. So I really applaud you for all your work and your dedication to yourself. Did you have a goal in mind while you were going like as long as it took? Like when do you feel like you will know that you've gone long enough on the grapes? Do you have like certain cues inside your body, or you're just gonna keep on going?
I don't really know because I'm almost. I told myself that I wanted to go. I wanted to go at least 4 months.
Okay.
There's a detox specialist that I watch. Her name is Tori Detox, and I remember her saying that. I remember her saying that 4 months when you go on a detox, like a really serious detox, especially when you're doing it to intentionally work on an illness, you want to go the 4 month. You want to go at least 4 months.
Mhm.
So I told myself, as I went along, I guess when I started, I I never imagined that I could go this long. I At first I told myself I wanted to go at least 3 months. I
Mhm.
wanted to go at least longer than the last fast that I did over the summer. But and I'm almost there. But I feel like I could keep going, and I may find another fast that that is more detox, because there's an, another person that just recently finished grapes, and she's actually been giving me advice. Her name is Faith Finds Fruit, and she
Yes,
she
I just
reached out.
connected with her. She's amazing too. I love her.
Yeah, she's a beautiful soul,
Yes.
because she's really like just out of nowhere, like, yeah, I see you're doing this great fast and just giving me advice, and and I'm telling her, the stuff that I'm going through, my detox symptoms and stuff, and she just did 108 or 106 or 108, and she did a lemon juice fast for 15 days, and
Yes.
she said that the lemon juice fast was way more pulling than the 106 days of the grapes. So I'm thinking about trying doing a lemon juice or key lime and lemon and key lime juice detox next. I want to do something that's a little more intense than the grapes. The grapes are pulling. You know what I mean? They definitely are something. Definitely are, powerful fruit. Um, and so I'm not really sure if I want to just keep on going like way past 4 months, or if I'm just want to go and start on doing a couple, maybe a week or so on citrus fruits.
Mhm.
I even had someone reach out to me in that is certified under Lauren Lockman's water fast group,
Yeah.
and he said one of his sons has cerebral palsy, and he cured him doing uh, a water fast, and he's telling me that I should do a water fast, and he told me that I could easily I shouldn't have in much of an issue doing a water fast, since a hundred I've done over 110 days. Well, at this point,
Yeah.
almost 120 days on grapes. He said I shouldn't have an issue doing a water fast.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking about doing water fast for 30 or 40 days and documenting that. Uh, I mean, I could do all those things if I wanted to, but I guess we'll see. I'll take it a day at a time. But I definitely I'm not tired of grapes. And that's interesting because each time I reach a benchmark, I post about it, and one of my friends from Atlanta, back home in Atlanta, were telling me, were asking me if I was tired of grapes. So I guess she assumed, rightfully so, I guess she assumed that after all this time I would be tired of grapes. And my answer is no.
Mhm.
I to be honest with you, I didn't realize how much of a fan that I was of grapes. I always liked grapes, but um, to be honest with you, I never realized how much of a how much I like grapes because I mean it is at the end of the day, I guess it is a challenge, but at the end of the day, at the end of the day, when you do a mono fruit diet, it's much easier when you pick a fruit that you like.
Mhm.
And I always knew that I liked grapes, but I never imagined that I would be able to just live off one fruit for so long.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine after so long that's your body also gets like tuned into it and it recognizes it as this is my nourishment. This is what we're doing, and the appreciation too that you must have for that particular fruit, after when you break your fast or when you start feeling hungry, you created a new routine for your body and your cells are craving it. Like that's so wonderful, and you're showing us what's possible, for many people out there. They may have never even heard of a fruit fast, let alone doing 120 days on the same fruit, mono fruit. um Feasting is so incredibly powerful, and all the greats, they talk about the benefits of it, from Dr. Morris, Dr. Sebi, Professor Arnold Ehret. Like that's really where we want to be when we want to heal like deep rooted issues. And it's funny that you said water fast. When you started talking about the lemon juice, I felt I was going to ask you, like, have you ever practiced water fasting, or even during your grape cleanse, maybe periods of water fasting? But I definitely have, personally experienced like a lot of benefits from water fasting. I've been wanting to do another one, so maybe I'll jump on another one soon. But definitely, there's so many benefits to that because the body's literally regenerating itself without any input from the outside, and eating up all the like dead cells and all the toxicity and whatever's inorganic from our body. It just flushes it out. So many benefits to that, um, to water fasting as well. I think as long as you stick to the fruit, like that's gonna be super, super healing, for as long as you go, as long as you stick to the juicy fruit. And if that's your goal, then you're gonna do it, whether you switch over to watermelon or oranges or apples. Like it's all really, really beneficial to you. So my gosh, it's so exciting. And I'm just like, I'm in awe, honestly, because I've never spoken to anybody who's done this before. This is my first time. So I am completely in awe of you, and just like super impressed with your dedication and commitment. I wanted to ask too, like, were you incorporating any other modalities, like herbs or enemas or anything like that during your 120 days, or any kind of other like healing modalities, whether it's physical therapy or anything like that?
Herbs. I started out the first month. I started out, taking herbs. Well, I love herbs. Like big part of my healing journey, it has been just my love of like herbalism and things like that. When I really started to wake up and learn about Dr. Sabi, um, I I was there was like a radio show back in the day called Know the Ledge on Blog Talk, and it was Dr. Sabi's stepsons. They're twins, Red Pill and Blue Pill, Paul and Phil Moreland. I ended up their mother was married to Dr. Sabi,
Okay.
and I was living in Atlanta, and I got to meet well, one of Dr. Sabi's ex-wives, and and I got to learn from her and sit under her learning tree and go to sweat lodge ceremonies, and take her herbs, and I got introduced to sea moss and everything, and and I just always had a love, even before then, even
Mhm.
before I even knew who she was or Dr. Sabi was. I was into like learning about herbs. So when I started this, herbs was still a part of my lifestyle. I was cycling on and off on different herbs, but um, I had signed up for Orville Douglas. I discovered when I over the summer when I did my first fruit fast, the first detox, I discovered Orville Douglas. And funny enough, Orville Douglas had just finished doing 90 something days on grapes. And then another one of uh, someone that joined that was a part of his class, part of his group, had was in the middle of she was just finishing her food fast when I was just starting. And um I was supposed to join his group in September, but I had moved. I just moved from Atlanta to Maryland, and the timing wasn't right because I was moving, and I had to really get adjusted from moving from Atlanta to Maryland, and so I held off joining his group to November. So I stayed on the herbs the first month. I stayed on the herbs for the first month, and when I joined his group, he talks about he talks about everything that basically that I was doing over the summer with just the sweet water dense fruits. And but he said no herbs. He said no herbs, no supplementation. Like the only water that he would suggest would be distilled water. So I decided to just live off the grapes in November when I started his challenge. I basically I stayed on the grapes. So I basically just lived entirely off the grapes when I was on his challenge. I didn't need any water, any tea. The grapes, because I eat about 6 to 8 pounds of grapes a day. So it wasn't like I needed any dehydration. I needed any hydration, or I was going to be dehydrated, because even over the summer I was eating a lot of watermelon,
Mhm.
and I was urinating a lot, and that was like the only setback I had with the watermelon. Just getting
Yes.
up,
You have
having
to
to
pee a
urinate.
lot.
Yeah, a lot. And the grapes, it wasn't as bad. Well, I'm have not urinating as much, but it's still I get up at least once or twice a night. Having to empty my bladder. So me doing Orville Douglas's challenge, it it proves some of the people like Yaki talks about how the body doesn't need water. In certain cases, and I agree with. I know it's been a lot of argument with that. Some people say you need water. Some people say you don't. But I my body is proof that um, if if you're eating foods that are hydrating enough, then you don't need to go out your way to drink a lot of water to hydrate you.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Like H3O2 is the best water we could get right from the fruit, you know? And even if we look to nature, and the way we were living as frugivores, as fruitarians, that's probably what we were doing, you know, is eating fruit naturally from the trees. We weren't needing so much water. The times where I feel I need more water is if and when I'm introducing any kind of cooked foods, you know, or salty foods that are like dehydrated to the body. But if you're just bringing in pure hydration, you really don't need any kind of water. Maybe sometimes, but you know, like yeah, when I fruit feast or when I'm on the 100% fruit, like I barely drink any water, sometimes never. So I definitely agree with you with that. Um, so How many grapes did you say you eat per day? I don't know if I understood.
Between 6 to 8 pounds, I
Oh,
believe.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, all right.
Because like a regular bag of grapes is usually about 4 or 5 pounds,
Okay.
and I could probably go through about
Yeah.
3 bags a day, which that is probably about 6 to 8 pounds.
Oh yeah, easy. And do you have them like scattered throughout the day, or do you sit down for
Yeah,
one meal, or does it
no,
depend on the day?
scattered throughout the day,
Yeah.
but actually I've been intermittent fasting. Most days I don't eat until 12 o'clock. I try to stop most days. I try to stop eating at 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where I might stop eating at 7:30 or 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been intermittent fasting
Mm-hmm.
most of this journey.
Yeah. Amazing. Have you been experiencing any like major like detox symptoms through this journey? I know, yeah, grapes are some of the most, probably the most, along with citrus, like mucus puller, like it pulls out the mucus from the body. It's really an anti-inflammatory. It has a lot of really, really healing properties. But it's very like, maybe I don't know if aggressive is the right word, but it is like it's an aggressive cleanse, when it comes to breaking down tumors, when it comes to, getting cysts out of the body, like everything. People have healed cancer with a great cure. It's actually a great book too. I'm trying to think of the author. Ah,
Yeah,
somebody
Jonah
can put it in
Bryan.
there.
I just finished the book for the second time today.
Yes,
I just finished it for the second time. Mhm.
yes,
Um,
yes,
yeah, with the it's called the Grape Cure. That's a really amazing book. I recommend anyone,
yes.
whether you're on a fruitarian diet, whether you're just regular plant based, that's a good book to have. Because even though there's some parts of that book that's not really vegan, but the gist of the book is about about how to detox the body and just the power of grapes and um, just how someone had so much discipline to just focus on grapes for it took her 6 weeks to cure her terminal cancer. Um, with the detox symptoms, when I did my first fruit detox over the summer, I did from May to August, and when I did the detox, I was kind of down on myself, and actually, I was I you were a big part of my inspiration for doing this detox because um towards the end of my first detox, you were doing your juice fast, and you were really you were really digging deep in your detox, like even to the point where you know you were taking I saw you were even taking criticism from certain people. It was like maybe less than a handful, but
Yeah.
I was paying attention to all of that. But and you even posted a video with Dr. Morse talking about a lady or talking about a lady and a man. I believe they did like 50 something days on grapes, and it was a video he was going over detoxification symptoms and how he had the person go on over 50 days of grapes, and like they had like terminal cancer, and he said the person was like called him up. The person's wife was called him up. He was on the floor, just like I guess you know just detoxing, having detox symptoms. You know what I mean? And I guess they were concerned, but he ended up healing. The detox symptoms were coming out, and he was healing. So I remember watching that video a few times before I started going on the grape fast. And then I watched it a few times during my grape fast, especially when I was getting towards that 50 something day mark. I was like, because at first I kept like, well, let me see if I can get to 30 days. Let me see if I can get to 50 days. And I watched that video. I'm like, at least let me get to like 50 something days so I get to this point to where this guy in this video will get the detoxification symptoms. But before I started this great fast, I get long-winded, but before I started this great fast, um, I didn't get it. When I did the first food detox, I didn't get any detox symptoms. And I was mad at myself. I said, I'm doing this detox. I'm eating nothing but sweet water, dense fruits. You know what I mean? It's a much lighter diet than I was eating because before I started, I was eating lots of salt. I was eating lots of avocados. I was eating a lot of, chips. You know, my guilty pleasure before I started uh, one of the fruits was vegan chips. And even though outside of my chips, I would, you know, at work, I would come to work and I would have nothing but fruits. I would have tamarinds, I would have mulberries. Obviously, I'd be like the healthiest eater you knew, you know. But when I came home from work, some days working 12-hour shifts, my guilty pleasure would be I would make like seaweed wraps and I would have like the raw nori wraps and I'd have the avocados and sweet peppers and, putting sea salt and all that and seasoning and everything. That would be my guilty pleasure. But so when I started my fruit fast, I went from eating that my vegan junk food with the wraps and the gluten-free potato chips that I was addicted to. I started I decided I was going to do this sweet water dense fruit fast. I was going to get off all oils and salts and sugar. And well, I wasn't eating any sugar, but the no salt, no sugar diet, the SOS diet. And then I started on the fruit fast. And when I got on the fruit fast, I wasn't getting any detox symptoms after when I got past 90 days. And I was going in all of these different groups and asking them why I wasn't getting any detox symptoms. And I didn't think I was healing. So I stopped. I had stopped that fruit fast. And interesting enough, when I stopped that first fruit fast over the summer, my brother, he came to visit me. He came to visit me, and he was just going off about how much taller I was standing, better I was moving, and my posture and things like that. And I didn't think I was healing, but he just and he didn't have no clue of what I was doing, the diet I was on. But he just kept going on about how much taller I'm standing and everything. And it didn't hit me that my body was actually healing from this diet. But I was thinking to myself, just because I wasn't getting any detox symptoms, I didn't think I was healing. So when I went into all those groups, and that's when someone recommended that book, that Grape Cure book. So when I stopped the fast and I went back, I moved here to Maryland, and I was eating a lot of vegan junk food. I was going out with my brother and my friend, going like to different vegan spots because even though they're not 100% vegan, they they love they love to eat healthy and they love to go. They respect my diet, my plant based diet. So they like to show me around. Since I just moved back, they're like, let's go to this place, let's go to that place. So it was kind of tempting to go to different places and get hooked on cooked food again. But I'd already set in my mind that I was going to do the grape fast. So I, was eating out a lot at a lot of these vegan spots here in Maryland and DC, and knowing that I was going to start this fast. So I remember the day before I started the grape fast, um, I I went and spent like $80 at this one vegan spot, and it wasn't even all that good, but I knew that I was about to start this fast, so I'm like, let me go ahead and enjoy this, and and I did, and then I went on this grape diet,
Yeah.
and I haven't looked back so far.
Wow. That reminds me of like when we know we're going to rehab, the days preceding that. It's like a shit show. I mean, I don't know how far you went, but it's like, okay, let me just like have one last go because I know tomorrow that's what before a juice cleanse, I'm always like the day before, it's always like all these things that I haven't even eaten in months. I'm like, yeah, let me have some French fries or something because I know tomorrow. I know it's a little counterproductive, but sometimes it's a little bit of fear too that might come up, right? And it's like our ego that tries to maybe like hold on to a little bit of our old life. But when we're committed, like you are, the next day you went for it and you haven't looked back since. That's absolutely incredible. So do you still like go out for social settings with your friends and stuff, or do you try to avoid them? Like do you still go, see your family or friends, or have you been more in a period of like self-reflection and being more solitary? Has it been easier?
I've been to I've been out. I have I haven't gone out too much. I don't like go out my way to, try to put myself in a position where I'm going to be somewhere where, it's going to, well, nothing's going to turn me away from what I want to do. I already set my mind. There's nothing that was going to break me from it. But obviously, you don't want to really put yourself in a position to where you're kind of compromised. But I have gone to I have I mean I don't really celebrate holidays, but I've been to uh Thanksgiving uh and Christmas
Mhm.
um and my family's with my bag of grapes,
Yes.
and it's I liked it because I mean like I said, nothing was going to turn me away because whether I'm on this grape diet or not, there's the stuff that they're eating anyway. I wouldn't have been able to eat it anyway. So,
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I was going to go, I know to bring my grapes, and it's just funny just to see people's, you know, like reaction. It's like it's weird because you get admiration in a way because a lot of them are like, I know I can't do this. Like, wow, like this guy is actually coming over here with this food cooking, smelling good, and he's eating nothing but grapes, and he's not even budging. It's like you hear about the eunuchs in the Bible, where it's like nothing that they do is tempted. They're there for their assignment, and it was the same way for me, like going to like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and like other family events, because I have a pretty big family, and I I wanted to be able to see them, be
Yeah.
able to see them when I can. So I I I wasn't I could have chose not to go, but it just had me to be around them, and just to knowing that I wasn't going to be tempted,
Hmm.
and and just, like I said, get their admiration. You get some of them, make jokes and things like that, but I've been vegan for almost 10 years, so
Yeah.
I got thick skin. There's
Yeah.
nothing, nothing that nobody could ever say. The moment I decided to go plant based, it was nothing. There's nothing that nobody could ever say
Hmm.
or do
Yeah.
to turn me away from the lifestyle that I wanted to take on. And I love being the black sheep.
Yes.
I've never been one of the type of person to be like, or like woe is me, and I I like the fact that taking on this lifestyle, taking on veganism, being different, because when I started back in 2014, it seemed like it was like being plant based was a lot different than what it is now. Now it seems like it's way more accepted. I
Yes.
mean, like even in like the hoods and the food deserts, there's a, a vegan spot or a raw food spot or a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's within at least 12, 10 miles from you, no matter where you live.
Yeah.
You know, so it's much more easier to live a healthier lifestyle,
Yeah.
live this lifestyle now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're definitely we went vegan around the same time. Me too. It was about 10 years ago. It's gonna be 10 years this summer. And it was not cool then. It was not very widely, talked about even, but there's definitely been a big shift. And it's thanks to people like you and me who have been so like committed, and we felt it in our heart, that transformation of like, well, we can't go back there, to that lifestyle of eating dead animals, starting with our health, starting with like ethical reasons. Like there's so many
Mm.
different reasons why, but it's so good to see the world awakening and so many more options available, and so many more like restaurants available. My dad was telling me about this man, I think it was in France, who had 3 Michelin stars. And which is very rare, to have three. And he had an awakening, I think during COVID or something, like he had to close down, and then he had an awakening. And when he reopened as a vegan restaurant in France. And then he gained back his Michelin stars as this new vegan restaurant. And it was just like such a cool story. I'll try to find it. But yeah, like so many people are just stepping into the light, stepping into the truth, about health, and making the connection too. You were saying like you were standing taller, and people were noticing like your posture is different. So would you explain it in the sense of like, was it is it like, I mean, it's overall, right? It's like the health of the muscles, the tissue. I'm not very familiar with cerebral palsy. You're the first person that I really talked to that has it. So I did a little bit of research, but what is it specifically that you think the fruit is improving with your condition? Is it like more nervous? Is it the inflammation, or a combination?
Um, I think is the inflammation um it's regenerating on a cellular level.
Yeah.
I know even watching Dr. Morse, Dr. Morse, he's like one of my probably my biggest inspirations. Him and Dr. Sabi, but probably Dr. Morse more than anybody if I were to rank. But he would talk about how he was able to take people that were paraplegic, people that were like in wheelchairs. Like this one guy he talked about that fell out of airplane, and and he was paralyzed, and he worked on him for a whole year. And he was saying like a lot of the other like paraplegic cases, because cerebral palsy is a motor neurological condition.
Mhm.
It's 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 an issue in the brain, and a certain part of the brain that affects the 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 movement of the muscle, like when your brain tells your muscle to do things, that part of the brain is affected. And um, me doing these fruits, I think I know I've been on this plant-based diet for almost 10 years now, and I've gotten over the summer. I've seen more progress in those 3 months on all fruit than anything else that I tried, and that's what one of the things that made me more persistent in doing the grapes was because I wanted to take just one fruit and go at it long enough and see if I can continue on that progress, and that's where I'm at now.
So powerful. Wow. Thank you for sharing. And I love Dr. Morse too. If anybody's interested in learning more about Dr. Morse, well, he has YouTube videos that are really great. And then his book, the Detox Miracle Source book, is a really great place to get more information and to start digging into the truth of the human body, detoxification. and the power of fruit. That's what I love the most about Dr. Morris is like he's really all about the fruit and detoxing, and also like the art of detoxing is like, you know, the transition too. You know, you've been on this path for 10 years. So maybe to some who are just tuning in, you know, it might be like, what, all fruit? But, you know, ZePaul has been preparing his body for like 10 years too. So maybe it's not like the first, I mean, some people jump into it. I'm not like limiting anybody there, but, you know, if you're thinking like, oh, I could never do that, well, start transitioning, you know, start transitioning into whole food, plant-based, you know, like eliminating the meat. You took out the pork, you took out all the animal products, like slowly start transitioning to like a whole food, plant-based while incorporating lots more fruit. And then it'll become easier to jump into like a fruit feast or a juice cleanse or something like that, you know? I do think sometimes if the body's not ready, you know, like the detox symptoms are definitely going to be like really intense and it could scare people off a little bit from this path. So I am mindful of that, you know, the level of toxicity in a body. If somebody's coming from like a very toxic diet and then they go straight into grapes, they're gonna get their ass kicked, you know, it's gonna be rough. Like,
Yeah, I think because you had asked me, and I kind of went off the rails, but you had asked me if I had any detox symptoms. Um, like me, um, depending on where I'm at, based on m- my knowledge or just my mindset, I might just jump into something. A couple of years ago, I did like 3 weeks in a row. I did 72-hour dry fast, and I want to do it again. There's a guy that I follow on YouTube. His name is Fasting with Trevor,
I love
and
him. Oh my
he
God.
does.
He goes like 20 days.
Yeah, I wish I'm one of those guys that I want to do something that extreme,
Yeah.
but I think I would have to build myself up to it. Maybe
Right.
after I do a 30 or 40 day water fast, then maybe I can build myself up to it. I definitely want to do something like that. I want to one day.
Yeah.
I want to be able to go on one of his retreats and go out the country and do 120 day 20. I would want to do something that extreme because people thought when I did the 72-hour dry fast that was extreme, and because people were looking at me crazy, like my lips were chapped and everything, like they couldn't believe that I was doing this going to work, and some of those days I was going to work, I was working overtime,
Wow.
and no one, like, they couldn't believe, and after I did those 3 weeks, I don't think I've done dry fast since then, but I got to build my mindset up to do it again. But I mean, and that's one of the things about doing this 120 days with grapes. It it lets me know that that I can have the willpower to do something like that because I'm one of those types of guys. Like you had mentioned, you said some people may be afraid of getting detox symptoms. Um, like I said, I've been through countless surgeries in the early part of my life. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of pain, or it'll take a lot for me to really react and like not want to go through something. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times in healing, you have to go you have to go through a lot. And I wasn't getting detox symptoms for a long time during this grape fast. And like I said, I watched that one video that you posted with Dr. Savy talking about that one person was doing. He did like 50 days, 50 some days on grapes, and he was things were coming out of him. He was passing out and all that. And I was waiting for stuff like that to happen to me, and it never did. But because I know if as extreme as that might be, I know that if stuff like that happen, I know that I'm healing. Other people might look at it like, "Oh, what's going on with you? You need help." But I know it's detox symptoms. I know it's stuff coming out. But obviously, I've been living this healthy lifestyle for so long. it would take a lot more for me to get detox symptoms. But I will say, once I got to like 96, 97 days, I started getting like real bad itching, like really bad. I was feeling itching like really mainly like my head and my upper body. But like, as you can see, my face is really clear. So obviously eating grapes have really, is really cleansing to my body. So the surface of my skin um is really clear, outside of the bruises from surgeries and all that, and scars, my war scars or whatever. My skin is pretty clear, but my I was itching, like my head and inside of my ears, but I didn't know rashes or anything. So I'm like, why am I itching? And I was getting feedback from people like Faith Finds Fruits. She was telling me, she said around closer to like 100 days, she was having those same symptoms. And she said that Kev Ramon, when he was doing his 160 days on watermelon, he said, she said that he told her that he was getting those same symptoms around the 90-day mark. So, because I was asking in a lot of these groups, I'm like, I'm getting like real bad, itching real bad. And they were saying, they were confirming what I kind of already knew, that it was detox symptoms, and I was getting them for like almost 2 weeks. I was just, I didn't really tell anybody except like the people in the groups, because I didn't want people to say like, oh, maybe you need to stop this, because nothing, as you can tell now, nothing was going to stop me from doing this, and them confirming that it's detox symptoms is all the more reason for me to keep it going. But it stopped like about last week. But it didn't really bother me until like it was time like for me to go to bed, and it don't really hit you until you try to be at peace.
Yeah. I've experienced that. It's no joke. It's no joke. Some parts of me, like I was like scratching till it was bleeding. And it did come on like later on in the cleanse as well. That's the lymphatic system, releasing all the toxins, releasing the heavy metals that may be there, the sometimes things like drugs and pharmaceuticals, if we ever took any, like they take longer
Yeah.
to come out. They could come out in the urine, they could come out in the feces, they could come out through the skin, like after a certain time, right?
Mm.
So yeah, I'm happy it stopped because honestly, like that could definitely make somebody quit, right? Like to just like they just like drive themselves crazy with the detox symptoms, whether
Mm.
it's, the itchiness or sometimes nausea. Some people experience vertigo, the emotional detox too, lots of tears. People may get scared of that, but that's why I like to talk about it because, when you have an attitude and mentality and like mindset like you do to go through it, then nothing's going to stop you. But sometimes it's good. I think it's positive to share. Don't like I don't think we should stop ourselves from sharing our experience because we're scared of like deterring people from the journey. Like that's just the truth.
Mm.
That's just what healing looks like. It's not always pretty. It's not always easy. And yeah, so we're getting a question, Queen Nancy. Hey, babe. She's saying, should you continue when you're experiencing the detox symptoms? I say yes, a hundred
Yeah,
percent, you
I
know?
would definitely, yeah, I would definitely say yes.
Yeah.
But it's up to you. I mean, I'm I would imagine not everybody is really built maybe built for the detox symptoms. But as long as if you get comfort, if you get comfort in knowing that it's detox symptoms, then it's it'll give you the encouragement you need to go forward. Because I mean, I I was at that point I was already almost 100 almost 100 days on grapes. So it was like, I mean, I went this far. Why would I go? Why would I stop
Hmm.
the healing that's going on in my body?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just for a little bit of uncomfortable. Well, it was probably more than a little bit, but it still wasn't enough for me to be like to stop after doing almost 100 days. And
Yeah.
if I set out to do 120 or go past 120, at that point, I was going to do it. So I
Mm.
would definitely say, keep going,
Yeah.
because I tell you what, just like my first fruit fast over the summer, I was mad at myself after my brother basically, and he didn't even know what I was doing. He just complimented me for no reason. It was unsolicited. The compliment he gave me. He just said, I don't know what you're doing, but you whatever you're doing is working. And I wish that I kept going.
Yeah.
So I say that to say, even when you start getting those detox symptoms, if you stop, you know, you're gonna more than likely, especially if it's something that you planned on doing long term. If you stop, you're gonna be kicking yourself like, I wish I had kept going. You know what I mean? Because then you're gonna feel like, well,
Ugh,
you're gonna have I got to do this again.
right.
And which is no problem with falling down and getting back up again. That's what life is about. But you know, if you can keep going, I definitely would recommend keep going.
Because it's not so easy to get back on. You say that, and that's exactly how I felt when I broke my last juice fast. It was 103 days, but I had felt like I'm going all year. Like I feel like I need this. I still need to heal. Like I was doing so good, all these things, and it really caught me by surprise. One all it took was like one evening, and I was with my daughter. It was her birthday, and she just looked at me with those little eyes, and she was like,
Mhm.
"Mommy, please, can you eat for my birthday?" And I was like,
Man.
"Oh my God." And right away, like, and I've been trying ever since to like jump back on the juice or the fall fruit. And because of the way I broke it too, with like, little salt and dressing. Um, I didn't break it properly with fruit. So right away, like, but like you said, like looking back on it, I'm like, I wish I didn't break it, because I really was set. But it's okay too. Like that is part of the journey, like you're saying. But if you're in it and you're feeling good, like do whatever you need to do to stay on track, and those cravings, they come as waves, looking back on it. I'm like, I mean, it's okay. Like my daughter, it's hard for her. She's 13, 14. She was 13, 14. Like it's hard for parents sometimes to be going through this. Like I want to water fast and I'm like, what is my daughter going to what experience is she going to have seeing her mom not eat for 10, 20 days? Like that might be scary for her. That might be. So definitely I'm like taking her into consideration too into this because she already thinks I'm like extreme and all that. So, it's a little challenging with kids, but not to say it's stopping me, but we love to eat together. Like it's definitely one thing when it's the social aspect of it. But anyway, so one more question. Queen Nancy said, how long did it take? Well, two questions. How long did it take for the itching to stop? How long did it last for you? You said?
It,
Is it
it was going on for about 2 weeks.
two
I
weeks?
mean, it would be like certain times. Sometimes it wouldn't be every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes it would be close to every day, but
Yeah.
it was going on for about 2 weeks. It
Okay.
was it was and sometimes it would be rougher than others. Sometimes I wouldn't feel it at all. I would only feel it like it would just come on at just random times.
Yeah. About 2 weeks. Yeah, I think it really depends on the individual, it could be a few days, it could be a few weeks, it could be maybe a little bit longer. It really depends. But, I found that like sweating helps a lot to help the detox process, like to go and sweat it out. Dry brushing could be another way to move the lymphatic fluids, lymphatic drainage massage, things like that to help the process. And King Matthew asks, what are you thinking about? I know we answered this at the beginning, but maybe we'll still answer it for Matthew. He says, what are you planning to do after the grapes? So you were maybe just a
I,
quick recap of that.
I'm thinking. Well, I'm thinking about doing a water fast. I'm
Hmm.
thinking. Well, I'm putting that out in the universe, but I'm really thinking about doing a water fast. I'm not sure if I'm going to hop right uh, into it um, after these grapes, because I still don't even know exactly when I'm going to stop with this. Because I know Kev Ramon, uh, he has set out to do a certain amount of days on watermelon, and he ended up doing 160. I'm not saying I'm gonna do 160 days on grapes, but it's definitely possible. But I'm thinking about doing a water fast. It's something that I want to do within the next 3-4 months, maybe within the next month, and go and do something like 30 to 40 days on the water. And I also want to do a couple of days on lemon juice, like Faith Farm Fruits was telling me about. I definitely want to do that, um, because she talked about how all the mucus and how much more benefits she got, much more of a detox she got from that than she got from the grapes. So I'm not really sure what's next, but you'll I will say stay tuned. I'm gonna I've been posting videos, documenting my journey on YouTube. So that gives me a reason to be able to like hold myself accountable
Hmm.
and take on another detox.
Yes.
So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do next, but it's definitely gonna be something different from grapes.
Yeah.
Um, I might even just do a watermelon fast when watermelon season comes back.
Perfect. And do you plan like long term to remain fruitarian, or do you think you're going to incorporate some other foods? Like, do you see, or is that too far ahead for right now? Like, do you foresee yourself ever going back to cook foods, or you really want to like stick to the fruit all the time? What do you think? Like, do you think it's sustainable to stay on the fruit for life, or do you think like we should incorporate a little bit of greens and salads, nuts, seeds? How do you feel about all that?
I guess it depends on your goal, and what you set out to. Because I definitely believe that all fruits is sustainable.
Hmm.
Uh, I guess it to me it just depends on where you're at, because I've gone through in my plant-based journey, I've gone through periods where I've been completely raw, or where I've been just primarily raw, where I've been raw all day and just maybe have one cooked meal out the day, or maybe maybe uh have like some eat all completely raw and primarily fruits, and eat um guacamole with some vegan chips, where those vegan chips are like my only
Hmm.
cooked cooked source,
Yeah.
or something like that, like, or where I might just go on a binge where I just go out to eat a lot. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on where my mind is at. I'm the type of person where I might I might wake up and decide, um, I just want to stay raw, and
Hmm.
then I'll be raw for until I decide to eat some cooked foods, and then I get hooked on cooked foods, or I might wake up and just decide I'm just gonna go fruitarian. So I'm not really sure. Um, um, I'm just moved to Maryland, and I got a lot of my close family members, and even some close friends, you know, they wanna like take me out to certain place, like let's go to this place, let's go to that place,
Yeah.
and obviously they they want to eat plant based, but they may not be as strict enough to like
Hmm.
go like fruitarian, so they might want to go somewhere where they can eat some cooked vegan foods, or they might socially want to me to go to this place or that place. Like, so I really don't know. So one of my friends here, um, all the even through this journey, she sends me a lot of she sends me like a lot of stuff on Instagram, like all these different vegan spots and vegan meals and stuff like that. She sends to me on Instagram, and it's not tempting to me right now because I set my mind out to do it. But like, she's like, well, when you get off these grapes, we can go here, we can go there. You know what I mean? And like, I wouldn't mind hanging out with her, and going to these spots and socializing with her and stuff. But like, I don't want to stop what I'm doing,
Yeah.
with these grapes right now.
Yeah. That's why like my dream is to have a little community of fruitarians where we're just like influencing each other so positively and just picking fruit from the trees and we're not feeling tempted, right? Because there's so much temptation out there. It's so hard. And vegan doesn't always mean healthy. Like sometimes they put a
Yeah,
lot of seasoning, they put a lot of nuts and seeds. So I feel you when I go to those restaurants too. Like it might taste good, but feels really heavy and we feel it the next day, even like things like nutritional yeast and yeah, like the coconut aminos, like that I don't usually make food with, but they'll include it. It depends on the restaurant, but it's so hard. But anyway, we still have to live in this world, and I think you'll find your way, you'll find your path, and your experience will lead you to where you need to be. Like we got to go through it in order to really solidify our decision. Um, Okay, I have one more question before we um close our circle. But okay, so there's a big debate, right? With like seeded, seedless. You've seen it in Bobby's groups, right? Bobby talks about it a lot. I'm so curious to hear, what your thoughts on that is, organic, non-organic. Are you like, do you believe in it? Do you do it, or are you healing with non-organic grapes? I'll tell you my position. I'm not for like I don't eat all organic. I eat seedless sometimes, but I'm curious to hear just so that like I'm not all about like, oh, we have to eat seeded and organic, but I'm curious to hear what you have to say.
I think, well, me personally, I uh, I chose I chose to eat seated. Like, oh, for a minute, like for years now, I don't I had took a stance that I wasn't going to eat any
Hmm.
seedless fruits.
Hmm.
Um, but that's just my choice.
Yeah.
I don't begrudge anybody
Yeah.
for eating seedless
Yeah.
fruit. And I think, and I get a lot of that question even now with these grapes. People ask me, um, do you eat seedless grapes? And now where I get my grapes from, I'm able to get seeded
Yeah.
grapes. So I choose. That's my choice, to
Yeah.
go out my way to get seeded grapes, because my choice. I would rather eat the grapes with the seeds
Okay.
rather than not. But I when people ask me, I tell them, if you're gonna do a grape fast, don't let the seed don't let the seedless stop you. If
Mm.
you're if you if you're on a grape fast, if you're on a grape fast, or even on a watermelon fast, don't let don't split hairs. Like, go, if you're gonna eat the watermelon,
Yeah.
stick it through.
Yeah.
Even if you can only eat um the seedless watermelon, because I guarantee you, eating those seedless fruits, for one, is not going to kill you,
Right.
and for two, when you go on that watermelon detox, or you go on that grape detox, you're still healing. You're
Yeah.
healing yourself, and that's the purpose.
Hmm.
Don't don't let you not having seeded grapes available to you stop you from doing it. Even if you go through the whole time
Yeah.
of having seedless fruits,
Hmm.
see it through, because regardless, those fruits are healing,
Yeah.
and it's much better than eating the standard American diet. You know what I mean? You're going.
Yes.
The purpose of you going on a detox is for you to put your body in a state of detox. And if you go outside of that, you're slowing down your detox. So I say, if you get your mind set on doing this detox, do it. Don't worry about seedless or seeded, and go for it. Go for that fruit. Fruits are healing regardless.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. That's a great answer. Yeah, I mean, some places it's just like impossible to find. Yeah, I'm in Montreal and I can't find a seeded watermelon, to save my life or like a seeded grape. If anybody knows a place, like I've looked around everywhere. So sometimes it's difficult. And like you said, I could choose to like limit myself and not like, of course I would rather have the seeded, for sure. Like if you could find the original fruit with the seeds, like it is better. And to say that, I've still seen a lot of benefits from seedless grapes and watermelon. Another reason
And
I
and,
want to go
and,
live in the tropics.
and yeah, and when people tell me that, and I tell them, you know, if that's a problem, if seedless or seeded is a problem, then find you another fruit. It doesn't have to be grapes. It doesn't have to be watermelon. You can do oranges. You can do mangoes. You can try if you have a problem with availability of one fruit, then try another fruit that's easily available. Doing these mono fruit diets, one of the reasons why doing this grape fast was so easy for me was because I was able to have the availability of places that had access to these grapes.
Mhm.
So if I didn't have access to the grapes, then I probably would have tried something like maybe mangoes or something,
Yeah.
or honeydew. Honeydew would be perfect for me, or or blueberries or blackberries. You know what I mean? Doing a watermelon and berry detox. It
Berries are
does.
so expensive.
Mm,
I can't imagine mono fruiting
mm,
on on blueberries. But yeah. Okay.
yeah,
We're attracting all the abundance to us through these fasts. That's what I tell myself. When people are like, "Oh my God, juicing is so expensive." And I'm like, "Yes, but I'm opening up all the channels to like so much abundance." And, like there's so many benefits that come from that. So I'm just laughing because I don't know what it is in the States, but like a tiny thing of blueberries here is like $6 or $7, Canadian. And you got like it wouldn't be enough to satisfy me, you know what I mean? Like I would
yeah,
need, I don't know, like 100 boxes.
yeah. I think me sticking to me, like, because I know a lot of people were saying the same thing about grapes, like, oh, grapes are so expensive, and luckily I was able to find a place that had them, that have them at a discounted price,
Okay.
and it's a local farmers market. But like me focusing on one fruit, I think saved me, even though grapes are considered expensive, me focusing on just one fruit
Yes.
cancels out because I don't have to spend money on other fruit.
Yes, exactly. That's true. That's true. At the end of the day, we do save. Oh, well, thank you so much. Is there anything else? Well, let us know. How can people find you? You said you have a YouTube channel. Tell us, and I'll put it in the chat as well. Is it your name, or do you have another name for it?
Ziggy the Iron King. Ziggy the Iron King. That's my name on YouTube.
Ziggy the Iron King.
Yeah. hmm
Oh,
And check out my website, ameximalistics.com. I have my batana oil and my black seed oil, and um, and follow me at Amexim Holistic Creations LLC on Facebook. That's my business page. But just follow my YouTube. Follow me at Ziggy the Iron King on Instagram. I'll keep posting about my journey because I'm still on my journey.
yeah.
I'm still on my healing journey. I'm on this detox, and I'll be doing more detox. Um, Maybe I'll have a long break in between, well, by long, probably maybe a month. It won't be too much long of a break, but I'm definitely going to be doing more detox. So I want to encourage people to keep following what I'm doing,
Yes.
because it might seem cliche, but your feedback encourages me to
Mhm.
keep going. It encourages me to keep going. And two, it it I've been getting feedback from people from all over the world. I've gotten feedback from a lady that's blind and was telling me that that I have been encouraging her. Um, she sent me a voice message. I've been getting people from different parts of the world telling me that I've in encouraging them, and some of them giving me giving me advice of different healing modalities to try. It's been amazing. Like this universe, this metaverse is so amazing to where somebody like me from the hood of Capitol Heights um, is getting feedback from people from all different nationalities, giving me advice on things on how to heal,
Mhm.
how to improve my condition, giving me advice on things that I would have never have known. And it's it's just unbelievable. I could have never imagined. And I just hope that you know, people just continue to encourage me to keep going because one day I want to be I want to leave out of this Babylon. I want to leave out of America. I don't want to have to you know be stuck in this captivity
Mhm.
working a 9 to 5 for my whole life when I could be in the living in the Caribbean or in South or Central America or somewhere in Europe that that I can be more in touch with nature
Yeah.
and not in this concrete jungle
Yeah.
that we're all in now.
Hmm. Well, when the time is right, your wish is going to come true. I think a lot of us are feeling this in the community. I've been talking to Bobby about it. I've been talking to a few friends about doing this, and like coming together with this, with our like high energy or high frequency. Like we are definitely moving into the age of like we're in the age of like liberation. We're liberating ourselves, we're breaking out of the matrix, we are tapping into what life is like truly about, breaking out of like, well, why am I working my butt off for like anybody else? Like I need to be working for myself and for a community, towards a similar goal. Like, right now my focus is just like, how can I get to growing my own food, and like that process has been quite a bit of a slow process, with my daughter and everything, being in the school and like anyway, she loves Canada. Like if it wasn't for her, like I would have been gone a long time ago, but she feels stable here for many reasons, but we were living in Belize for many years and I absolutely
Oh,
love living there. What?
I wish I could go out there. I think I seen you post some things from out there. There's there's a lady that I know in Atlanta. Her name is Chef Aki.
Okay. Yes.
She moved out there a few years ago. She was living in Atlanta, and she comes back to Atlanta a lot. But we had I went to a lecture where she was speaking at, and she told us, she said even though she comes back a lot, she said she'll never move back to America full time. She
Yeah.
moved her and her kid. Well, her kid is I don't think her kid is 5 yet, but they're living in Belize,
Yeah.
and she didn't have to worry about vaccine exemptions or anything like that.
Hmm.
And that's how I want to get to, because I don't have any kids yet.
Yeah.
But you know, so before I get those responsibilities, I want to be able to, you
Hmm.
know, be somewhere like that,
Yeah.
to be in the tropics, because it's a big difference. Like it's not just it's not just like the scenery. You can actually feel the difference because I've been to Jamaica twice, and like you can literally feel like
Yes.
the difference being in that climate. The food, everything, it tastes different. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah. The sunlight, the
Mm.
ocean, the rivers, like It's crazy. It's right away my skin too. Like I still deal with like some skin issues, some breakouts sometimes, some eczema, like I have some spots in my body. And when I go there, it just like disappears. It just gets so much better. Come back to the cold, come back to the lack of humidity, and like things start to come back. So I definitely feel like it's the place to be. We are tropical beings. We are frugivores by nature. So it's only natural that the more we connect with our own nature and to nature, to the fruit, the more we connect to nature in general and wanting to be in nature, wanting to be with the trees, wanting to like live in the trees. I'm like, I just want a tree house. Like I want to live on a tree, like I'd be so happy there. I have like a fake tree background, just because like I want to look at trees, even though I'm living in an apartment, on the seventh floor somewhere.
And and even though you're right, that is where we're supposed to be, like in the tropics. But God knows what's going on over here. That what they're intentionally doing over here to change the climate. So we have to deal with that as well.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Yes. Well, let's keep putting our intention forward. I would absolutely love to work with you and build this together so we could keep this conversation going for sure. We all could bring some gifts, our gifts to the table, and that would be so awesome to make that happen, to make that manifest. So, and it
mhm.
could happen. It is gonna happen. It's not even like I
Oh
was
yeah.
gonna say like it could happen faster than we think. Once all our energies are put together and it's like, okay, let's do this, it's gonna happen. So
Mhm.
yes. Well, I have somebody in Belize right now who wants me dead, so I'm not going there right now. That's for a whole other video though.
Hey, when we
But
go to
Mexico.
we can go to we can go to Ecuador. We can go to Ecuador. We can go to Mexico. We can go to Jamaica. It's so many. We can go to we can go to Italy. We can go
Yeah.
any. It's so many. I mean, this world is so vast.
Yes.
The North America. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the world is too small to just be stuck in North America.
Right. I know exactly. Oh no, we'll find our spot. We'll be back in Belize before we know it. I just gotta clear some stuff up. But that's the thing though, when we're on this path, we get attacked. When we're doing God's work, like that's part of, for me, that's part of a detox symptom is like some of the
Yeah.
hate, some of the attacks I've been getting, some of the like full on demonic. Like I'm just gonna go there and say it. Like the devil is trying to bring me down, the devil is definitely trying to pull me down and kill me. Like the devil comes to seek, kill, and destroy. Like this, there's no joke about that. When drugs found me, uh I didn't realize it was going to bring me to my death, like it wasn't a conscious thing, but it led me there. And many times I've like almost died, I've almost been killed. Like so many things have happened where I'm like, oh my God, but God keeps saving me, I am saved. I'm always saved, but like there's definitely been a lot of attacks.
That's
Um,
how you. That's how you know. That's how you know that you're doing. That's how you know that you're on the right path.
yeah.
That's how you know. I mean, I've been through a lot of stuff as well, but you know, it builds character, and
Mhm.
and that's you know, you have that story to tell. You know what I mean? Just like just like I watched your juicing journey, and I watched you. I watched I watch people throw stones at you for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I watch people throw stones at you for that. A
Mhm.
small amount of people, but enough for me to notice. You know what I mean? But you kept it going,
Yeah.
and it's like that's how you know you're doing the
No.
right thing. You know what I mean? If
Just
you weren't doing the right thing, then they wouldn't be coming at you. You know?
exactly. And you are the living proof too to like, sometimes I'm like, why do I even post? Like, is anybody even paying attention? Like, does anybody even care? Like, is anybody really taking this on, And then like you're telling me that you've been, inspired by my journey. And I'm like, really? Like sometimes so just like keep sharing because you never know who you're going to inspire and you never know who needs to hear it from you with your voice. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I feel so silly. And, here I am like, oh, are they going to think I'm whatever, like people will always have their opinions of us, right? Like I'm choosing
Mhm.
my way of expressing myself and, you know, through my pictures and my colorful juices, but like I am inspiring people just like how you are inspiring people. So we really need to overcome that fear and also overcome the fear of the negative comments. That was big for me because I am like a people pleaser, you know, naturally I like to be loved. I have this like fundamental need to be loved by everyone. And when somebody doesn't like me, I'm like, why don't they like me? You know, like I don't get it, but we're not here to please everybody. We're not here to be loved by everybody. And once we overcome that, we really do step more into our power and our light and our purpose because there's always going to be those that are telling us we're crazy, what we're doing is dangerous. When I was water fasting, they're like, you're promoting starvation, you're promoting eating disorders, something's wrong with you. Like I got a lot more when I was water fasting. And just got to like keep on going because you know your truth. It's between you and God, and what everybody else thinks doesn't really matter at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
I now remember talking about this with my brother. Like, you know, a lot of people, you know, I think one of the biggest expressions of godliness is being able to fast.
Mm,
Because when you read a lot of the when you read the Quran and the Bible and a lot of these spiritual texts,
yes.
they talk about fasting. And fasting is not just something that is elected like if you fast. They say when you fast.
Yes.
It's expected in those religious texts that you fast. That goes to show me that fasting is an is an expression of godliness.
Yes.
You're denying yourself something that your body wants. You know what I mean? So by fasting, it's I think that is the biggest expression of godliness, no matter how spiritual you claim to be. I think that's the one of the biggest expressions of godliness. Because you have a lot of people who claim to be spiritual, and claim to be of God, and they've never fasted a day in their life,
Mhm.
and they're still eating uh, ungodly foods like um like pork and scavenger all the time,
Yeah.
and they're the first ones to tell you that you shouldn't be doing this and shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. We should definitely do more talks like this. I would love to dive deeper into the fasting, into the spiritual aspect, and yeah, really help people because this is information that could save somebody's life, you know, that could definitely change the course of their trajectory, you know, just hearing your story and hearing where you're coming from. I love bringing in God, you know, I think it's so important on this journey to have some kind of spiritual life and some kind of connection to the divine. However, somebody wants to call that, you know, not everybody wants to call it God, not what everybody thinks it's a he, you know, and that's okay. Like it's your own personal belief, but I think it's so important to have. I don't know if I could have gotten through any of my cleanses if I didn't have a connection to God, you know, a connection to my higher spirit. So and it brought me to deepening my faith too, because I didn't always have faith. I wasn't a believer of God until everything happened and the drugs and all that. I was raised Christian, but really my faith came from being saved. And I was like, okay, like you're real, you know, and like I'm getting on my knees and thank you so much for saving me. But yeah, the fasting definitely deepened my relationship with God. So
Yeah,
it's a
because
beautiful thing. Yeah.
you're denying yourself parts of the flesh. Like
Mhm.
when you have when because I've been seeing this post a lot. A man that has control over his sexual desires, you know, is a powerful man because they have enough willpower to be able to control their fleshly desires. And what better way outside of that to be able to do that by fasting, by being able to eat grapes for so long. It takes a lot of discipline because you're denying yourself the desires of eating cooked foods when I was when you went because like I said, right before I started, I was eating cooked vegan meals.
Mhm.
So I'm denying myself that
Yeah.
by going to the fruits and fasting on that.
Yeah.
That's when you're able to deny yourself, deny yourself the your fleshly desires for something else to achieve something bigger. In my case, for health purposes, um, just by being able to do that, it it's going to do a lot of positive things for your spirituality, regardless of what you believe in.
Yeah. Oh, definitely, definitely. And amazing miracles are coming your way, are manifesting right now in your life. I'm sure you're feeling a lot of synchronicities, a lot of like aha moments. You're probably receiving a lot of downloads, and those gifts keep on coming as you continue on, whatever you eat after this, like this period of deep discipline and also sacrifice. Like it is sacrificing a lot. God sees everything and God rewards you for what you are doing right now, and also the example you're sharing with others and the way you're shining your light. And just like, thank you so much. You are really a remarkable individual. I am feeling so blessed and honored to have this opportunity to talk with you and to um experience you on like on this level. We've known each other online, but we've never, done this before. So I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity, and thank you for sharing with us. You are an inspiration. You've helped others. Thank you for everybody who joined us on the live. If you have any questions or would like to, connect with ZePaul, please don't feel shy to do that.
Yeah, I look forward to it, and I look forward to coming back on here in the future when when I've completed my next couple of detoxes, and you've completed your next couple of detoxes. Because
Yes.
I'm sure that we'll probably be on a few detoxes around the same time, even if it's
Let's
not
do it.
intentional. You know what I'm saying? I'm
I
sure,
know.
you know,
Yeah.
whatever I'm doing, you'll probably be on your next one. So
I
I,
know, I
I
need
definitely
to. Well,
you
maybe
you
we'll do a
will
water
you will
fast or a dry fast together.
yeah, I'm sure you will because I don't I know you kind of kicking yourself right now, but I know I've watched you long enough so far that when you're in the detox you go in. So
I am hardcore
don't
too.
I wouldn't if I was you I wouldn't be worried about it because when you go when you do detox you really go in. So and it's really inspiring. So
Aw, thank you so much. I'm so happy you keep me going, just like how you say you get feedback and it helps you. Like me receiving this feedback is filling me with so much joy, happiness, and you're the voice of God too. You're helping me to see like, come on, Aline, like this is your purpose. Like you love doing interviews. I have so much resistance with the videos. Like I'm actually quite shy. Like I'm a very shy person. I'm very like introvert, and people don't really know that about me because I've trained myself to be an extrovert. But and like someone like Dr. Morris, like I've been thinking about it. I'm like, how do I reach out to him? God, I'm so shy. Why would he want to talk to me? But it's like I just love doing this so much that it is very natural. So you're definitely helping me to come out of my shell again, like I said, the last few months. And also, I am hard on myself. It's like when I start eating these a little bit of cooked foods, it's like, first of all, it lowers my vibe a little bit. I'll be real. Like it makes me a little bit more, you know, brings me down a little bit. And then I'm like, oh my God, I can't show myself on camera. I'm so swollen. I'm not like da da da. Like I have to be like this perfect. But today just felt really natural. And I'm like, listen, I'm just gonna show up like as I am, be very honest. Like you don't have to be on fruit to be like interviewing him. Like I have these conversations in my head, where but that is just, finding that balance and finding that self-love no matter what, like loving ourselves no matter what, wherever we're at, it's ebbs and flows in our journey, like So it's thank you so much. You've played a very important role in my life.
And we
Today,
need
yeah.
we need people like you. Like
Oh,
I need these interviews. You know, when you interview people, I need to be able to I need to be able to pull up these interviews when I'm sitting back eating my grapes and like waiting for day day 18 to turn to 19. I
yeah.
need something to watch to pass the time, or I need something. I need for you to interview that person
Oh,
so it can bring out that story from that person that will motivate me
okay.
to keep going and know that it's the light at the end of the tunnel with this,
Yeah.
because we're doing this. You know, when we detox for a purpose,
Yes.
and you know it's definitely, like you said, a reward in doing this stuff. So you know you'll reach that reward, just like when you those last fasts you did, you 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 healed yourself incredibly in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that next fast you're gonna go even harder. You know, as hard as you on yourself as you are right now,
Uh,
it's gonna make you go even harder when
yes.
you start back when you do start back up. So there's no need to, you know, be mad at yourself.
Ah, thank you for saying that. I know, like when the time is right, there's just a click that happens. When somebody's ready for something, they do it, we do it. We're hardcore, like we don't play around. I'm gonna do that year. I'm gonna do the year on juice. Like I feel it. And also like I want to do 40 days on water. Like when the time is right, I'm gonna do it. So we're gonna do it. We're all like so powerful. We are infinitely capable of doing anything, of performing miracles in this lifetime. So even
Mhm.
Jesus said it, what I do, like you will do even greater things. Like, hey, think about that for a minute. Like he walked on water, like Jesus was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
So he's telling us we're gonna do the same and then some. Like, wow.
yeah. Just knowing that is just motivation, you know, to keep us going. Like we're his vessels. Like we're we're prophets. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
In certain ways, we're his vessels. We work through him, even if it's not consciously. You know,
yeah,
we work through him.
yes.
If as long as we're doing what we need to do, you know, because a lot of what we're doing with fasting and juicing, you know, we're becoming light beings,
Hmm.
and there's a reason why they call it light beings, because we're a vessel of the higher power, whoever the higher power is to you, you know.
Yeah. Definitely. We have the living God inside of us, and I like to look at it too, like there's like big G God, but then we are also like little g gods and goddesses. We are incredibly powerful. Like we are the living temple of the living God. So that means that we too, like we have him in us and we could do amazing things. Well, thank you so much. This has been really powerful, and I really look forward to talking with you again and seeing all of your journey and all the next, chapters of your beautiful story. And thank you for making me part of it, and thank you for making our whole community part of it. Yes.
I thank you too. I thank you too.
Thank
You
you.
don't understand how much of an influence that you are to many of us.
Yeah, make me cry. Thank you. I needed this, and I needed you right now. You know, anyway, I don't want to get too much into it, but I've been in a bit of a difficult situation lately, just trying to bring myself back to balance, back to center, and remembering what I came here for, and my purpose. And it's friends like you that to help me to stay strong and move forward and do what I got to do and do what I love doing too. So thank you. We will meet in the tropics. We will plant some fruit trees together. I see it.
Mhm. Yeah, we sure will. We sure will.
All right, my amazing friend. Have a great rest of your evening, and thank you everybody who joined us from near and far. I will see you very soon. I will plan another interview. Maybe you could give me some suggestions, and I will go for it with your help. Thank
Mhm.
you. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. We'll see you very soon. Bye. Peace.